With the rectangle frame tool, we'll draw a frame that fits to the right of the first column down to the bottom right of the page where the bleed lines meet. We hold down Shift and click on the green box and then choose Object, Pathfinder, Subtract. We'll now subtract the new box from the green background to create a white area on our page. And if we choose Object Lock Position, we can't accidentally move that object. Now if we choose the Polygon tool, and double click to zoom to 100% on the zoom tool, and position our view to the top left of the page, you can click and the polygon options dialog box appears, and we can choose the width, and we can type in inches and it will be converted to the default measurement system in place for our document. So it will convert it to picas and points. Number of sides, 5. If we click OK, we get a 5-sided polygon with those dimensions. If we now choose File, Place, and locate in our links folder for this lesson the stop sign and click OK, that stop sign will snap into the middle of that frame that we just created, that polygon. We could choose Object, Fitting, Center Content is now centered within that frame. Now obviously the frame and the graphic do not follow the same outline, so we can edit the polygon. If we double click on the Polygon tool, we can change the number of sides to 8 to reflect the shape of the graphic within that frame. If we click OK, and choose from Object to convert that shape to a polygon, it will now adapt to the new polygon settings. We can also use that Convert Shape option to convert existing polygon further down the page. So first of all, let's move that stop sign into a more aesthetically pleasing location. And then go to the bottom of page 4, click on the globe graphic and choose Object, Convert Shape, and choose Rounded Rectangle rather than the circle, and now we can see that globe is on a rectangular background. And if we choose Edit, Deselect All, with the selection tool, if we click within the middle of the stop sign, and then drag the handles so that the stop sign, holding down Shift to keep the aspect ratio correct, we can drag to make that shape, that frame, fit to our stop sign outline. So if we drag in from the top left and drag up from the bottom right, there's no excess around the stop sign. And then we can zoom in with the zoom tool to fine tune our work. So if we can do another little bit of editing with the frame, and do the best job that we can. Now the direct selection tool has another option to it, which is the position tool. And so if we hold down on the direct selection tool, we now have the position tool. If we click the stop sign, this will change to a hand, and with the arrow keys on the keyboard we've got fine control over the positioning, and then we can resize the graphic and use the positioning options to perfect that the viewing of that stop sign within that polygon frame. If we position our cursor on the outer border of that frame, it gets a dot on it indicating it's selected. So we can now move that stop sign closer to the text. This just saves the switching between different tools. With the selection tool, if we click on the blue globe at the bottom of the page to select it, in the control panel, ensure that the reference point for any work we do is the center of the image by clicking on the dot in the middle of that reference grid or reference point locator, and then go to the rotation tool in the control panel, or you can press R to choose that tool. Now we can change the parameters from the dialog, the drop down menu, and we can do view fit page in window. If we now navigate to page 1 using the pop-up menu at the bottom of our window, and switch to the direct selection tool, which is also available by pressing A on the keyboard, we're going to rotate the image of Jeff G. So we click on Jeff and make sure the reference point locator is in the middle. You can press the R key to get the rotate tool, or you can click on the rotate tool in the toolbar. Move the crosshair over one of the corner handles, hold down the mouse button till it becomes a solid arrow, and drag, in this case clockwise, to rotate the image until we're happy with the way it appears. There are some limitations because we don't want white to start appearing in the corners of that rectangle that the image is within. So we could resize the image or reposition it with the direct selection tool to ensure that we haven't got unsightly white areas. If we do view fit page in window, if we go to page 3 and click on the top 2 pieces of text on that page and go to Window, Object and Layout, Align, and click on Align to Page and Align Objects Center, they'll be aligned in the center of that page, and we can deselect all. Now, holding down the Shift key, if we click and select all of the icons down the left hand side of this page and go to the alignment options and choose Align to Selection and Center, all of those objects will be aligned to the top object on that page, so they're in a nice column. We can now save. Now with the selection tool, let's just first zoom in to the area with the Acrobat logos, the bottom of that column. With the selection tool, we're going to click on the two Adobe Acrobat icons and group them. If we hold down the Shift key and resize those logos, they both resize together despite them being grouped as one, and we can save. Now if we move to the top of the page and click on the Evolve logo and go to the Select Content button in the control panel, this enables us, by clicking, to cycle through the objects within that group. If we stop at the first E and then change to the Direct Selection tool, hold down Shift, we can click on each part of that logo so that we've got it all selected, and we're going to change in the swatches palette the fill. So we'll click on the Fill tab and change that to Paper, which means the colour of the paper will show through where that logo is. If we choose Edit, Deselect All, it now is white, which is the colour of the paper. And if we choose Fit Spread in Window, and under Display Performance put it to the highest setting, we can now preview our document. If we go back to normal and then File, Save. And that concludes Lesson 3, working with frames.